Another week and another news article about a possible CBS Viacom Paramount merger. However, this time I do feel like it might actually happen. So that's really good news. So what we need to do is go ahead and review that article and talk about what this may mean for the future of Star Trek as a whole. Before we get into the video, however, I want to let everyone know that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be hosting an audio-only live stream chat with the Trek Central channel here on the Ketwalski channel. We're going to be covering a lot of the stuff that came out from San Diego Comic-Con, sharing ideas and theories for what the future of Trek is, and what we expect to see from Star Trek Las Vegas. And at the end, we're probably going to go ahead and answer some of the questions from you guys and gals, the fans. I hope to see you guys all there. If not, that video will be uploaded to the channel afterwards, so you guys can get an opportunity to see what it is that we talked about. Okay, so a few days ago, The Hollywood Reporter published an article that basically detailed another rumor in regards to the CBS Viacom Paramount merger. This is not the first time we've heard this. This isn't even the first time we've heard this year. But this one does seem to be a little bit more, I guess, kind of in it as opposed to the other ones, especially considering the fact that it went ahead and provided an actual date, which they believe that the official merger will either go through or be announced on August 8th. And that's pretty exciting. And this definitely will have a lot of impact on the Star Trek franchise moving forward into the future, but not in the way that certain channels may have led you to believe. Now, of course, a lot of you may know that I'm referring to the whole alternate timeline license issue, the 25% rule, which basically forces CBS and Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard and all these current secret hideout productions to change everything by 25% because they believe that all of the current Star Trek productions fall underneath an alternate license that J.J. Abrams was issued by Paramount from CBS to make the Kelvin universe. It's very, very complex. It's a lot of craziness kind of going on there. I did do a video previously where I went ahead and tried to debunk a lot of the supporting evidence that these folks tried to utilize in their arguments. That is going to be linked down below, and it's also up here in the corner, or that corner, I think it is. So go check that out so you can see a lot of the meat and potatoes of that argument. But I wanted to add a little bit more to that kind of situation just to really drive the point home that we're not going to see changes in regards to the way people think, and a lot of people, I think, may be disappointed with that outcome. So the first thing I want to go ahead and point out is that CBS 100% owns the intellectual property rights of Star Trek, and this is definitely easily verifiable. Everything I'm going to talk about right now is things that you can just simply go and find if you know where to look on the internet. So the first thing we're going to look at is the SEC filings, the annual SEC filings from both Viacom/Paramount and CBS. Now in CBS, Star Trek is listed out as one of its intellectual properties, which it completely owns, and all that fancy legal verbiage there. This is something that they are 100% assured in. It's listed out under their intellectual property section. However, if you look at the SEC filings for Viacom/Paramount, Star Trek brand is listed out just underneath film entertainment, and it's not listed at all inside of their intellectual property section for their filings. Now, again, this is just showing a clear division that, yes, they do have the film rights and the access to the film classics, as they put it in the SEC filings, of Star Trek. And that is the change that we're going to see. We'll get to that here in a second. But all of the intellectual property rights and everything to do with Star Trek is owned by CBS. You would be hard pressed to try to convince me of any other concept. There's just so much overwhelming evidence that is clear. Legal documents. These are legal documents. They cannot lie on these documents. These are not things they can just fudge around with and do whatever they want with to try to trick the rest of us into thinking that this is real Star Trek or whatever it is. That's clearly labeled in their SEC filings. The next thing I want to go ahead and point out to all of you is the fact that if you do another simple search through business filings for California, you can look up for Secret Hideout and Bad Robot. You see here that this is the statement of information for Secret Hideout. It's listed out as a completely independent company owned by one person, and his name is Alex Kurtzman. And then if you search up Bad Robot, you'll find a whole bunch of listings because Bad Robot has a bunch of subsidiaries legally registered to J.J. Abrams and his wife and a few other people. And guess what? You're not going to find Secret Hideout. They're not there. There is no connection between Bad Robot and Secret Hideout. There is nothing there. So again, I have that other video with all that stuff, but just keep in mind that the SEC filings list Star Trek as an intellectual property of CBS. They do not list it as an intellectual property for Viacom and Paramount, but they do mention that they do have the film, access to the film franchise classics, and the business statement of informations from California list out Secret Hideout and Bad Robot as different companies. There is clear divisions here. Now, with this giant merger, what we can expect to see, in my mind, is most likely an expansion of Alex Kurtzman's purview and control of the Star Trek franchise, along with the global franchising group. Now, if you guys remember, just a few years ago, Alex Kurtzman penned in a whole new expensive deal with CBS to work with them up until 2023. So if this deal goes through with, Viacom and CBS right now, and they all merge back together, Alex Kurtzman will definitely still be involved with the productions of Star Trek at that point, and will easily take over all of the future Trek movie productions from that top level of Secret Hideout Productions. I think it's clear as day. The man has experience. Whether you like his films or not is not my point. The man has experience with making films. You can debate all day whether or not his movies are good. I don't think they're particularly good when it's just him, but that's a separate issue. But he has experience. He's got the in with CBS. He's got the in with Paramount. He's got the in with Sherry. He's going to be in control of all things Star Trek. So that is what's really going to be changing. Not that things are suddenly magically going to start looking more Trek-ish. I think a lot of folks are going to be really disappointed when this merger finally goes through, and then they continue to wait, and nothing changes, because this is the aesthetic. There is no conspiracy here. You don't hate it because they're legally forced to change it for whatever reasons from this 25% deal. This is the aesthetic they went with. This is the aesthetic that they've chosen. This is the style that they've chosen for their shows moving forward. This is it. This is it. And what's going to happen is Alex Kurtzman is going to be involved with these films. And guess what? The films are most likely going to share a similar aesthetic as well. A similar design look, a similar style. That's what's going to happen. Now, I did touch on my previous videos, just in case people aren't super aware, that I do believe that CBS would have pressured certain things to change design-wise in order for them to be able to force merchandisers to license new images of these things, such as the Enterprise. Like, it makes sense that they would have to change, that they change the Enterprise sufficiently, a merchandiser would not be able to put the TOS Enterprise on a Discovery t-shirt. They'd have to purchase a separate license for that new-looking Enterprise to put it on their Discovery t-shirt. They'd have to do that. So I understand why they may force it in that way, but it has nothing to do with Paramount and Viacom and CBS and Bad Robot and Secret Hideout. It's nothing to do with any of that stuff. And I've gone through every bit of evidence that I have been sent from these other people that say these things, and I'm telling you, that's not the case. The changes that we're going to see is going to be an massive expansion of the film franchise for Star Trek, just the way that we're seeing it on the small screen now from the digital platforms. There's going to be a huge explosion of Star Trek. One of the main reasons that they're trying to get this merger together is because of Star Trek. That's one of the main reasons, according to that Hollywood Report article, that they're trying to put this whole merger together. So I think that's what we're going to see. I think a lot of people are going to be really upset. I think some people are not going to be upset and they're okay with what's to come. But I just wanted to go ahead and get more of that detail out for everybody there. Try to go ahead and try to head off some of the craziness that's most likely going to pop off when this merger actually occurs, and people are going to be running around with their heads cut off. They're going to be saying, oh, now everything's going to look back the way it is. I would be surprised if things magically started looking like, if they did make a Pike show, which I think they are, and then suddenly they start showing him in the exact original TOS bridge and the TOS styled Enterprise. There's no way. They're not going to do it. They've already got their design. They're sticking with it. That's what we've got. Anyways, guys and gals, that wraps up today's video. Hope that was pretty entertaining for you. I know that was a lot of just reading off a bunch of boring documents, but it's important to go ahead and get this conversation started, and I want to hear what all of your guys and gals' thoughts are. Are you excited for this merger? What do you think it means? Do you think I'm close to the money here, or do you think that there really is a secret agenda about a 25% license deal going on? I'm curious to hear what all of you guys and gals think. Please throw up that information down below, and I'll catch all of y'all next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies!